seems to be doing pretty good. We put about 150 pounds in it 2 weeks ago, and had to come back yesterday, and I knew it was going to happen, but we had to drain what was in it because the cables were stretching, and I knew we'd get stretch out of new cables. So yesterday we came out and went ahead and drained what was in the feeder, and took the slack out of the cable and put it back up. But it's up there now. It's up there about 10 foot. Looking at the coverage, we got about a 30-foot diameter of coverage. Sprinkling a little bit. Come out this morning, check on it after we did the work on it yesterday. Alright, set to go. It goes off twice a day, 7 in the morning and 7 in the evening. We got it set for 10 seconds. It's going to give about 2 pounds at a time. We'll go back up to the cabin. Good evening. Welcome to Deer Corner. Glad to see you. Glad you're with me. Go ahead and subscribe. Help the channel out. But today and this evening we got in. We went and checked the deer feeder we put up. And we seen signs where the deer been coming in on it. That's what we're hoping for. But to answer a couple questions that were given to me is, I'm not really keen on a deer feeder, but as a supplementary feed right now is what we're going to keep the deer in the area and give them something to eat. I'm still going to work on the food plots, and we got a lot of other plants going out, but deer feed you have to be careful with. And I'm not feeding them corn, I'm feeding them pellets. Corn's not good for a deer. It's good for a filler, but it takes so long for them to digest corn that basically you can starve a deer to death by feeding them corn. Now pellets you got to be very careful with too. I went and looked at several companies and brands of deer pellets, and in looking at it, one brand was 18% protein and another brand was 21% protein, but yet they called it deer feed. And I did a lot of checking, a lot of researching to figure out what pellet to use, or mixture of pellets is what I've been using in there. It's a mixture. And deer do not have a gallbladder, neither do horses. And a gallbladder produces a bile, and the bile is a liquid that helps and assists in their digestive system. But see, deer and horses don't have it, and to digest certain proteins and certain fats, it can damage their liver and their kidneys and their intestines because they can't digest it. So a high protein or a higher fat count of feed can actually hurt a deer. And more is better. No, that's not true in this case. I've heard and talked to a person about it, and he had the idea of feeding it because it improves their antler growth. Well, if you're damaging their internal system, how can it be helping their antler growth or their muscle tone? So you got to be careful on what you feed a deer, just like a horse. If you feed a horse too much protein and too much fat, they go lame on you. And basically, you're poisoning them, they go foundering out on you and they'll die. So you have to be careful about that. And the feed I found, the protein is 7.5%, and the fat in it is 0.5%. So that is about where I want to be when I'm feeding deer and deer feed, because you got to look at the protein, the starches, and especially fiber, a good fiber. And what I came up with was a beet pulp. It's after sugar beets, it's the pulp. And that pulp is real low in proteins, real low because they took the sugar out of it. So it's lower in starch after they get the sugar out of it. But it's real high in fiber. So that's where I got the fiber. And then I mixed with the pellets, I'm mixing an alfalfa Timothy grass pellet. And that is to give the other essential supplements they need, their starch, and therefore, and the deer are feeding on it, and that within 2 weeks they're up and hitting these pellets. So if you're going to feed deer, and do your research and find a blend. Now I get mine, and I found mine, and they're real good at looking it up and getting it for me, was Tractor Supply, and they ordered it in, and I got it, and my mixture, and that was very good because, you know, they're a good store to work with. But be very careful on what you're feeding. I hope this helps you out a little bit. And like I said earlier, go ahead and subscribe. And I hope to see you again. Thanks for watching.